Hi, I'm Jale. Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a full moon in Scorpio video, which will be the 7th of May 2020. What is the full moon in Scorpio going to bring? It's the last supermoon of 2020. It is also known as the flower moon. So let's see what this energy is going to bring. If you're feeling quite, there's a lot of intensive energies, yes. No, this is actually my natal moon placement and my sun placement. My sun is in Taurus, it's 0 degree Taurus, Aries Taurus cusp, and my moon is in Scorpio. So this for me feels normal. This energy right now feels normal. So yes, there's probably quite an energy build up that people are feeling here. But there's also usually a release or a good sort of thing that comes afterwards. So let's see what the sort of guides want to bring forward, really, to sort of over the next few days. What is going to be coming with this full moon in Scorpio, the super moon in Scorpio. Let's see what they want to bring us here. Okay, so we've got the tower energy here. This is removal of anything that no longer serves. This is anything that no longer has a place in our lives. It's destruction. I'm not going to lie. This actually looks like a bit of a tornado. Now you've got to remember with this kind of energy, is the structure firm? If it's firm, then it will sustain it. If it's not firm, then it may not sustain it. Now, what do we usually say if there's a structure or something, a situation that isn't strong? Is it a bad thing that that's been kind of shaken? Because then surely you'd know and see the weaknesses around it. Or is it actually being removed for something else to come in? Something good to come in. So this is the thing, we've got to kind of bear that one in mind. Now the other card that came up is the Page of Wands in the reverse. This is about enthusiasm, or sorry, because it's reverse, lack of enthusiasm, there's a stubborn holding on to things here. People are stubbornly holding on to things. I'm just hearing a removal of anything outdated. Anything that no longer is meant to be with you is probably going to be removed. I'm going to be honest. I'm just hearing all change. Yeah, look, there's a lot of fear going on here. This is the 9 of Swords. Fear, being kept up at night, not sleeping, not accepting. This is the 2 of Swords. Worry, anxiety. Someone's holding on to something here that needs to be let go. Let it go, because there's something else coming your way. Something else is on its way. They can't make this offer. The offer can't come in until you accept the loss of something else or removal of something else. It's yeah, look, this is the Queen of Cups in the reverse here. So this is an emotional energy here that someone's a little bit kind of imbalanced emotionally here. They're not seeing the wood through the trees. They want to accept something, but they're worried about if they accept it, what they have to lose to gain it and what's going to come after that. And Spirit is saying you have to speculate to accumulate. This is not about, it's risk versus reward. It's taking that leap of faith so that you get to where you need to go. This is about getting to where you need to go here. And I'm hearing that song, Heaven's Got a Plan for You. I think it's by Swedish House Mafia. It's Don't You Worry Child, Heaven's Got a Plan for You. There's a very strong ancestral energy that's coming through here that's trying to reassure people. It's a very strong healing energy, but it's now, I know obviously we've got Pluto in retrograde. We've got Saturn and Jupiter just also conjunct, because Pluto rules Scorpio. We've got Saturn and Jupiter that's just conjunct each other at the moment, still in Capricorn, and it's about to go into retrograde. There's an ancestral energy here that's coming through, that's coming to kind of, they're helping. It might look like this is coming to remove everything that you've once known and relied upon, but you can't see what's past that. And they're saying you have to have the faith, because what's past it is actually going to be a lot easier for you. What's past it is a blessing. What's past it is freedom. What's past it is hope. You may not be able to see immediately in front of you what's on offer, but what is on its way is a lot better than what you currently have going on. But I feel like because of the current circumstances, people are holding on to that because it's a security issue. It's like a security blanket. Release. The more you can flow with, I mean, look, this is not easy to get into. And obviously we've got Sun in Taurus. So Taurus is a willful, stubborn planet. And so when you've got that kind of opposing force, because obviously Sun and the Moon are currently opposing each other at the moment, there's a very strong need to hold on when actually, and as someone with this placement in their natal chart, and as someone with a moon in 12th house unaspected, and having been broken several million times over, to the point where it's like, just let go, Jale. Just you're like a dog with a bone, just let go. I can testify to the fact that the more you hold on in these situations when it's definitely not for you, the worse it gets. They're saying this is supposed to be a blessing. This is not supposed to kind of make you feel like you've done things wrong. It's supposed to be a blessing because they're moving you into new pastures here, where you can attain what you want to attain. You can achieve what it is you're hoping to achieve. But with certain elements of this situation, it's not happening. And I keep hearing that song, that Swedish House Mafia song, Heaven's Got a Plan for You. Yeah. 8 of Coins here. This is the 8 of Pentacles. Someone's got a plan. Okay, the universe has a plan. This is 8 of Coins. This is about building a structure, building an empire, building a legacy, building something that is built to last. They want to remove an old structure to rebuild something that is meant to last, so that you can have and you can kind of continue on your path. The sky's the limit. Whereas in the current reality, there is an energy here of let's remove things that is a dead end. Excuse me. Now, this could have been draining you. This, because I'm channeling the energy here. This could have been hard work for some of you. Maybe you've fought to keep hold of something that just isn't working. There's a distinct energy here of trying to hold on, and Spirit is saying you need to let go. Because don't forget, Uranus is also currently in Taurus here, which is about very erratic changes. I keep hearing that song. Don't you worry, child. Heaven's got a plan for you. Something about, I looked into my father's eyes. When I was a child, I used to look into my father's eyes. It's something about, and in days of old, it's like they're talking here about looking back at a certain point, and looking back to this point in time and understanding why things have evolved the way they have. And it's like they're saying, in a future reference, that you're not going to be looking back at this once you've let it go, saying, oh, why did I let it go? You're going to be looking back saying, I let it go and that was the right decision for me. Do you know what I mean? Now, again, you might sit there and go, I've already let everything go. I don't have anything else to let go of. And then this is not for you. This is a general reading. Take what resonates and leave the rest. We've got the 3 of Swords here. This is heartbreak, endings of unions, relationships, but someone's in mixed minds. Someone is really confused about what they want to do here. They don't know whether to let it go, if it's going to be good or bad, or what the deal is. Yeah, there is another energy that they want to come towards here. This is the 7, this is the Queen of Wands. This is what they're trying to go towards. But with the 7 of Coins, this is about a waiting period. It's like they don't know whether to make the move. They don't know whether this is something that is going to come back to bite them, if this is going to serve them, if it's not going to serve them. It will serve you. This is the fountain. This is the elixir of life. It's the kind of trump card. It's the get out of jail free card. It's the brand new cycle. The cream of the crop. The creme de la creme. It's fear that is blocking this. This is it's like someone's reading their gut instinct saying, yeah, but what happens if I'm wrong? You're not wrong. You need to you're listening to fear as opposed to your gut instinct. You need to start determining what is your gut instinct. Now, this is the thing. This is not an easy way, but especially if you're reliant on listening to what people say to you and then going, right, I'll make my decision based on what they told me, then this is not the right decision. You need to sit and tune into your heart center and know the right decision for you. Tune into your gut instinct, your solar plexus, and say your sacral chakra, and feel you'll know, because this is the thing. Let's put it this way. Let's do it even easier. Let's spell this out even easier. If you completely debated this subject for weeks on end and there is still something niggling you and you haven't made a decision, then the likeliness is that you making your decision is going to make you feel easier because you have been led to make the decision. By you sticking in this situation, why would you still be questioning it if it's the right decision? Use logic. Usually when we don't need to make a decision, we don't have a gut instinct to make a decision, do we? Because we don't need to make a decision. So what you're saying here is, oh, well, I think I need to make a decision, but I'm not sure. Well, you must be, because otherwise you wouldn't think you need to make a decision. Especially if this has been a decision that's been brewing over a few months or weeks, because it's like, well, there's obviously something telling you to look at something here. There's a split. There's a very split energy here. Now, don't forget, Taurus and Scorpio are in opposing signs. They're in 180 degrees from each other. So there is going to be a very Libran energy to this, which is very kind of up, down, you know, do I make a move, do I not? But the thing here is with the Scorpio moon in that kind of, you know, water energy, releasing of truth and you know, releasing all that kind of information, you should be able to make or discern a decision fairly easier in this energy, because you've got to remember, with Taurus being that kind of practical sign and then Scorpio being in that unearthing, that kind of revolutionary energy, that very dark, deep energy that isn't very intense, and there's always, the truth always gets revealed with Scorpio moons. So if you're, especially today, thinking, or on the full moon, around the full moon, saying, well, I think I might need to make a decision, then chances are you do, and the chances are until you make the decision, it's not going to go away, because you haven't made the decision yet, and you haven't made the right decision yet. So, you know, the easiest way to do this is meditation, and to try and link in with your higher self so you can discern what is the best decision for you. But if you still have difficulties, look, bottom of the deck is the 8 of Wands. It's just fast movement. I feel like once you make your decision, things will be able to move forward. But at the moment, it's like there's a pause based on a deliberation. Yeah, look. So we've got the King of Pentacles with Death. So someone's trying to make a practical decision here, but they know that there's an ending that is involved, and so they're desperately trying to put this off. But there is a practical decision that's being deliberated on, and that's what's essentially being held up. Yeah, there's a reconciliation going on here, reunion, healing. This is Temperance is also healing. This is emotional healing. Someone's about to uncover themselves and some feelings that I don't think they realise they have. And I think that's what's bothering people, because it's like, I didn't expect it to be of this depth. I didn't expect it. Well, coming from a Scorpio moon, you're right. It's like a freaking iceberg. You see 5% of it, you know, and the rest of it you have to delve deep. Unfortunately, I'm 39 years of age, and that it still takes me, like, even now, I definitely have not mastered my Scorpio moon. I'm not going to sit and lie, but I know a lot about it. Do you know what I mean? It's not an easy sign. It's not an easy placement. It's not an easy energy. And I can tell you 100% categorically that as soon as you think that you've reached the bottom of it, oh, there's more. Oh, there's more. There's always more to come up. And you're like, where's this come from? And it's very all or nothing. It's like you either feel everything or you feel zero. Bit can be very disconnected. Now, this is the thing with my own natal placement. Mine's actually unaspected in the 12th house, which is even worse. Like, because you've got Pisces thrown in the mix then, and it doesn't connect with any other planet, so it's like a completely separate entity. But because obviously at the moment we've got Mercury that's kind of following around or very close to the sort of very close to the sun, there is definitely some communicative healing that will be coming up, and honest truth with the self, and honest truth with that's being shone a light onto, that's needing to come up. There's also something about a regeneration here, because obviously Scorpio is very much regenerational energy here, which is, again, it's the phoenix rising from the ashes. If you feel like you've been pushed down and it's like there's nowhere else for you to go, oh, trust me, this is when people start dismissing Scorpio moons, I always laugh. I'm like, keep going, because actually you're doing me a favour. I want you to actually completely underestimate me, because it's going to do me a massive favour. It serves a purpose. Let them do it, you know. And so this energy, if you feel like you've been pushed down and it's like there's you don't know which way to go, bide your time and sit in the energy, because this is a very murky energy. It's not easy this is not an easy placement. This right here, this energy is my natural energy. So if everyone's going, oh my goodness, this is so intense, it's intense, it's this, that, yeah, listen, I've had 39 years to get used to it. So, and it's also the Buddha's placement. Buddha had the same placement. It's about reaching enlightenment. You've got to remember, if you're being pushed into the depths, what do you learn when you're in that area? You learn how to free yourself, because there's only so far you can go. And with the Scorpio moon, there's such a depth to it that it's like you become aware of a certain emotional, I don't want to say mastery, because that would be a little bit arrogant for me to sit and say that, but you do. You can understand a lot more than what others, maybe other areas or other chart placements, would understand, because it's like you're being thrown into a very dark area, and you thrive in it because you know what I mean, it's that depth. But you got to remember, it's like anything, it's like oil rises to the top, doesn't it? So this energy, you cannot sustain this for a continuous long-term period of time. So if you're in that energy at the moment where you're feeling a lot of a very heavy emotion, ride the wave, because there's going to be an emotional freedom you gain from this, and I will tell you now, there's going to be a lot of healing, and also there'll be a gift at the end of it. And I keep saying that, but it's the reality. Coming from someone that doing healing, when I do healings based on my, obviously this is the thing, when you do healing, it's like you have to be able to understand how to heal you first. And so when you're healing other people, and yes, I do energy healing as well, it's really important, because you can see every layer, every tiny detail, because you've had to walk that path. Now, yes, it's very incredibly difficult when you're in that energy in the now, and it's like you're trying to navigate, you're trying to sort of understand and look for signposts. Don't look out, look in. Identify the areas in you. If you're feeling like you're very low, work through that, sit in that energy. I've seen so many people sit and talk about these emotional energies and say, observe it. No, sorry, that's not going to get you anywhere. Coming from, again, being broken several million times over, that's not great. You can maybe do that if you don't feel brave enough to go straight in, but get your feet wet. You got to get your feet wet. You got to get your hands dirty, because they're not going to give you anything that is that ridiculous to deal with. Now, you might be sitting there going, well, what is this then? There's a global pandemic. We've got all kinds of weird stuff going on. Keep the faith. This is all you're being maneuvered into a position of power. You're being maneuvered into a position where you're needing to be. This isn't the end picture. This is just a transitional period, but sometimes we've got to be a little bit, you know, it's like salt shaker. You can't just kind of, you know, sort of get a bit of salt out. There has to be some friction and movement. And this is what we're currently going through, and this is a big purge. And you know, the next couple of months especially, is, you've got to remember, in order to cleanse a planet, it's not just going to involve one or two individuals. It has to involve a collective group of people. And if people aren't going to do the healing, then the healing will come to them. Sorry to say that. Again, it's like, for those who want to do the healing, it's going to be easier for you guys because you're willingly going into it. But if you're actively trying to escape the healing, these next few days are not going to... I'm just going to keep it real with you. These next few days are not going to suit you very well. Sorry. But it's time. You agreed to this. Your soul contract agreed to this. I'm sure I'm going to trigger a million people here going, well, what about people that have gone through death and da-da-da and all these other things? It's a soul contract that we're brought into and we're adhering to. They have it all under control. If we are not adhering to our soul contracts, or we're off course, then things happen and things are recalibrated to get us on course. It's part and parcel of why we're here. You might sit and say, well, I feel out of control. Like I don't like the idea of someone else, you know, determining my energy. This is the thing. We are all one and the same entity. It's like, if you feel like something is, you know, removing your sovereignty, or you're out of control, why do you feel like that? Because, I mean, realistically, the only person that can take the control from you is if you kind of give it. I'm going to be real with you. You know what I mean? It's like, if you feel like things are out of control, is that you having a comfort blanket and you feeling like things are being removed because you're not expecting them to go that way? Or because there's a master plan going on here, but which I'm going to be filming over the next couple of days, because the reason I haven't filmed the kind of the background of all this is because there was definitely no way I was going to film this today, because I wanted to kind of get a snapshot of the energies ready for the next couple of videos that will be coming on, which are going to be an outline of the context of everything as to why this is happening and what the reality is, like in the physical realm, what the reality is. But the job in the today, in the now, in the interim, is for you to understand and collectively work through your own energy, because if you're not able to do that, then the rest is going to get harder. I'm just going to keep it real. And again, feel free to, if you're not following what the words I'm saying is, maybe you're not ready to hear them. Maybe that sounds extraordinarily arrogant. I'm just going to be very honest. I don't have, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have time to sit and break down and be careful with the words I'm using at the moment, because we don't have the time for this. Like, you got to keep up now. I'm sorry, but that sounds really rude, but keep up. Things are going to move. There's so much going on underneath the surface of this. This is why this has had to happen, because people are not... There's a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call of enlightenment, awakening. This is a soul awakening. People are going through a dark night of the soul at the moment. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of people that aren't coping, that are getting very upset because they haven't done the work. Does that mean to say that I'm a perfect human being and that I don't need to do the work? Of course not. I just do my own work before I've worked through this. Like, for example, I've taken the last couple of days on and off, the last 3 or 4 days, to totally focus on this, because then I need to be up to speed, because I'm the same as you guys. Like, I need to work through this in order to understand it so that I can explain it to you. Otherwise, what's the point? But you definitely go within and understand what this means for you on a personal level, because there's about to be a very quickened pace. Now, don't forget, we're about to go into Gemini season. Excuse me, we're about to go into Gemini season. And by the way, if I'm hiccuping, it's because I'm literally transmuting energy as I talk. It's like I'm like a recycling process plant, essentially. We're about to go into Gemini season, which is going to be a very fast pace. And then obviously Cancerian, it gets interesting. Put it this way, it gets interesting, right? So we have to do the foundational groundwork. Now, don't forget, Taurus energy is very much about comforts, the physical reality, security. Our security is being tested, but is it a false security or is it a real narrative? A lot of the time it's a false security, because our real security is connecting to source, is connecting to our spiritual identities, it's connecting to our soul. It's not connecting to the physical bodies that we were assigned within, you know, this reality we're in. So we have to understand that on a physical level, things are being tested to make sure that you're on track, so that you're not buying into a narrative. Because at the moment, we're heading more towards an evolution of soul, where our physical reality is shifting and changing. So your physical reality and how you identify with that is also going to change. And what this energy at the moment is saying is, do you comprehend where this is going, or what's the sticking points here in order to move you on? This is helping you progress. Essentially, it's helping you to progress. This is like if you were to track, if it was like it's like a tracking system. It's helping you pinpoint points on a map to get to. It's a checkpoint, essentially. This is essentially a checkpoint to make sure that you've cleansed or got to a certain energy. Now, don't forget, with anything on this earth, there's a tipping point, and when we reach a certain tipping point, that's when things can progress. And this energy today, around this full moon, is to install a tipping point so people can purge what is needing to be purged and release. They're saying get ready for change, and it doesn't have. And again, coming from someone with a Taurus Sun and a Taurus Venus, change can be very scary. But I'll be honest with you, I've got Sagittarius ascendant, so I love all this kind of stuff. It was like, are you mad? Yes, a little bit. I do sometimes think, am I like an adrenaline junkie a little bit? I'm not gonna lie. I'm here for the ride, personally. Now, has it been hard up to this point? Yes, of course, because I had to cleanse a lot, you know, work through a lot. But this is because the work's been carried out up till now, and I know I've done what I need to do at this present moment in time. I can just sit and observe now. Much easier. You know what I mean? Rather than sitting and waiting to be dragged, you know what I mean? Which realistically was almost going to happen, you know. For a long time they were losing their temper with me, my guides, that is. But if you're being guided to do something, if you're being advised to do something, if you're being instinctually kind of told to move into it at your power with something, then please do it. Please listen, because it's not to make you feel like you're not worthy. It's for no other reason other than to make sure that you are listening to your own inner self. Especially when you've got people around you, sometimes it can be incredibly easy to listen to the crowd. Listen to this. Listen to your higher self. You don't even need to listen to me. Just listen to your higher self. If I'm honest, all right. Listen to what your higher self is advising you to do. So there's a lot of cards that came out then. Interesting. Someone's not paying attention. Four of Swords in the reverse, Ace of Swords in the reverse. Someone is trying not to look at the clues that have been assigned to them because they don't want to acknowledge what exactly is going on. And what is really going on is this is karmic balance. There's a karma that's being balanced here. Because it has to be, again, tipping point, as I mentioned, 4 of Wands in the reverse, 2 of Wands in the reverse. This is about the home, this is about the self. Someone doesn't want to identify with what is needing to be carried out. Can be a living environment or external sort of situation needs to be changed, but it's usually more than likely an internal issue that someone is not wanting to acknowledge because it's too painful for them. You'll have to excuse me if I'm extraordinarily blunt today. I'm going to be honest, this energy that we've got coming up over the next couple of months is going to get, I'm not going to lie, this is going to be insane. I haven't even started telling you about what else. If you knew what else is coming up between now and the next year, you'll know why this is happening. And I can't sit and give you all this information at once because it's just going to be too much information. But whatever you can try and do to move yourself along to make your life as easy as you can. And that's not resigning into the norm and the status quo and just sliding into the background with your friendship group or life. This is about you being, you know, you. This is about you honouring yourself. This is about you stepping into your own power. This is about you acknowledging that the crowd is no longer your place. This is you being called to action now, all right? Now, if you're hearing that, if you're understanding that energy, if you feel that within you, then you need to, if you haven't already identified in what area to sort of move forward within, then that needs to be looked at. But also, first and foremost, is what's holding me back? What emotionally do I need to release? Because don't forget, we have to release before we move forward. And this is basically the first protocol. What emotionally, what healing do I need to do? What's holding me back? Do I identify with a certain mindset that is don't forget, there's a lot of projections people can place on us when we're growing up, our parents, our peers, our colleagues, everywhere. Is this a true reflection? Do we identify with that reflection, or are we adhering to it? If we're adhering to it, why are we adhering to that? Why aren't you here to honour yourself? Because if we're all here to honour ourselves, then this whole thing, we wouldn't need to be going through this, basically, in reality. Long story short. Right, let's go with the final couple of cards and then we'll wrap this reading up. Full moon, please, in Scorpio on the 7th of May. What is this bringing? Final cards, and then we'll go into which way. So we've got the star in the reverse. This is to provoke healing. Star is usually healing energy. Upright is healing. This is because, I'll be honest with you, the lockdown has not really been solving. People have not been adhering. I'm not sure if you can hear that noise, but that's my brother making lots of noise upstairs, so I apologise if you heard that. The star is about people that don't want to acknowledge a certain path that is being shown to them. And this is the moon where it's saying, are you sure you don't want to take this path? So if you've been having sort of mixed messages, mixed minds between things, this is your call to action at this point. Right, let's go with the Queen of the Moon Oracle, of course, because we are in a Scorpio full moon. Let's see what the outcome is, please. Outcome, please, for Scorpio full moon, 7th of May, 2020. What is the outcome, please? Wow. Yeah, we must practice gratitude, because that definitely will help us. We've got ancestors helping us here. We've got change on its way. Of course, this is it says the last quarter moon, but I can see flowers here. This is obviously the last supermoon of 2020. It's also the flower moon. What else can you tell us, please? Full moon. And nourishment. What is serving us and what no longer serves us? This is here to give us something. It's giving back. It's actually providing us with truth, with nourishment, again, with care that maybe we needed, that wasn't being given. It's like if we haven't been nourishing ourselves emotionally, if we haven't been nourishing ourselves with some time, some care, some extra kind of comfort, then this is what this moon's going to give. So if you honour yourself, if your body's telling you to sleep more, do it. If your body's telling you to eat more greens, like I've been making smoothies every 3 seconds because my body's craving that like that. And I'll be honest with you, I had the most amazing dinner today. It was like, it was very healthy, but it was just what my body needed. And usually when you're on the money, especially because I'm a Taurus as well, so I love my food, but usually when you've got that right on the money, you can feel that there's that nourishment. It's like you're rewarding yourself. It's like such a comforting feeling, isn't it? When you've hit the money, when you've made your mark with what you needed to get from whatever the situation is. This moon is going to reveal that. It's going to show you what you're needing. It's going to show you what you're missing. listen. It's usually not very subtle, the Scorpio moon, but listen very closely, because over the next few days, if it's not today, over the next few days, you'll be given a lot of signs and a lot of information and synchronicities. This was your Scorpio moon reading for the 7th of May. Thank you so much for your likes, shares and subscriptions. Catch me live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. British Standard Time. Have a wonderful day, month, wherever you are. Until next time, take care.